Hello and welcome to Space Shark Teaches. I'm Sean, owner and lead developer of Space Shark Studios, and in this series we're going to be teaching Godot. This lesson is going to be substantially shorter than the last one, but probably just as important, because we are going to be going over user-made and used functions in this lesson. It is going to last a little bit longer than you would think because the content is pretty short, but it replaces a big chunk of the code that we've already put into place, making things a lot more manageable and a lot nicer looking. So to start, we're going to, as always, open up our player controller and go over here to process. As you can see, we come into the function right here. There's a whole lot of code in different areas. And right now we have gravity and we have right, and that's it. But what if we want to add left? It starts getting a lot more complicated looking. So instead of that, let's make a bunch of functions that'll do it for us. To start, you click the plus button right here to make a new function. And you can go ahead and rename it. Let's do move right, because we already have the code to move right, correct? Now we need everything that we've used before. So we need the action, the variable, condition, construct, call node. All of this stuff needs to be put over into here. So what I just did right there is I held Control, clicked all of these so that I could grab them all at once. Control C to copy. Clicked over here. Control V to paste. As you can see, there. It is now moved over. It doesn't do anything yet because we have to go and remove it from here, figure out how it all connects together. So let's go ahead and say we've moved this. Let's erase it. See what happens. We can't do anything, the player doesn't fall, that's as expected. So now let's watch some real fun. We drag move right into here, and then when move right is done, we recall gravity again. Let's see what happens this time. Wasn't that easy? All of a sudden, we're able to move right again. And the code for our process looks like this now. It just says move right. Let's go ahead and do this as well with the gravity. So Control C after selecting them all. So you have to remember everything has to be named uniquely. So we already have a variable called gravity. We cannot make a function called gravity. So instead, let's start using their naming convention of an underscore to start. So this is gravity, and this is underscore move right. Now you can see it doesn't really pick up that whole underscore thing there, but it's working. Let's go ahead and copy these again. And it is, it was there, we just weren't looking in the right spot. So now, drag this down and say when gravity runs, call gravity. Now over here in process, we can remove all this and say that gravity gets called after move right gets called. Now let's just see if we can get the right, there we go. Now it looks right. So now it's going to say go to function, or during the process, so during the regular game loop, we're going to move right and then call gravity. And that's it. Gravity is now running gravity, so constantly going down. And move right is if we press right on the keypad, then move with speed, just like we set up before. And there we go. And you can see gravity is running, and there goes our little man. Great. So how easy is it to then go and mimic all this? Well, let's go ahead and say, copy all this, make a new function called move left. When we paste it, you can hook it up, but that's not exactly what we want, right? So we want to switch this to left, but this will just cause us, well, one, it's not going to do anything because it's not hooked up yet. But even when we do go and add this in, it's not going to do what we want, because all this does, if you look, is we once again are moving right when left is pressed. To prove this, I am pressing left. That's not what we want. So we need to find a way to invert the speed, right? We need to make a negative speed. We need to take this vector and say, go the other way. So we can go ahead and say, all right, we have vector 2. Negate. So when negate does with a Boolean or a true false is it swaps what it is. In this case, let's see what this actually does. Theoretically, if you negate it, it should cause the x value to swap, right? It does. So negating is multiplying that vector 2 by -1. Now, just to show you real quick, this is going to be ugly looking, so forgive me. We have right now, so here is our axis. So y and x. And remember, y goes positive as we go down and negative as we go up. But this is positive and this is negative for x and y. Let's make this look a little bit better. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So right now, technically, we have a speed. A speed is just a number. But we want this number to represent a vector that is going 0 up or down, and I think it's 10 to the right because it's positive 10. What negate does is just flipping that to the other side. So a vector 2 looks like this if you want to think about what it looks like in the real world. Vector 3 is just 3 dimensions, so there's a z going this way, but we're going to forget about that for right now. So it's y and x. Right now, speed is just a number. When you add this constructor, you can see the y is set to 0, the speed is pulled in, and that creates this vector 2. And over here, we take that same one and then we negate it, which means we swap it to go the other way, and we call it. And that's it. We now have our nice little band of functions that are much easier to look at and deal with than they were before. We don't have to worry about stringing these little wires across everywhere anymore. They can get all nice and compact. And that's true for all of these. And it fits into this nice little straightforward move right, move left, gravity. That'll make it a lot easier in the next lesson when we start adding jumping, because that one is going to be a lot more complex and we don't want to add all of that together. Remember that right now process is including this and then this and then this, all one after the other, packed into this chain right here. We do not want all of that plus something about just as big as all three of those put together in one big messy script. And that's why we have functions. That's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching, and this has been Sean with Space Shark Teaches.